lead star Brent Webb, and Nightingale, one winger, he's on debut, the other side, Sam Perrott. The centres, Saar and Soliola, teammates at the Roosters. In the halves, there is one late change, folks. Roberts is out, in comes Hohire, and the halfback is Thomas Lulawan. The back row, arguably the Kiwi strength, Williams, Mannering, and David Fa'alongo. And up front, it's captain Azatazi with debutant hooker Isaac Luke and the experienced Kalis. On the bench, Smith from the Storm, alongside Halatau, Blair and Pritchard. And on debut as Kiwi coach, one of the modern-day greats for New Zealand, Stephen Kearney. A nervous moment for everyone here tonight. Players, match officials, even the fans. It's been a long time since we've been in this place. The Australians, an all-star cast it is. Slater at the back on debut tonight, and on the wings, the two Storm players, Inglis and Folau. The centres, Gasnier, a famous name at the cricket ground, alongside Brisbane's Justin Hodges. The halves, well, Thurston, he's been cleared to play despite an ankle problem. Bird is in for the injured Darren Lockyer. And the back row of debutant Paul Gallen and Melbourne teammates Hoffman and Michael Crocker. And up front, Kite and Sivanasiva, the two bookends, Cameron Smith to captain the Roos for just the second time. And on the bench, Gidley, Mason, Tupou and Webb, who plays his maiden test tonight. The coach is Ricky Stewart.
Ricky Stewart on screen giving his final instructions to his Kangaroo side. As John Cartwright, the Titans coach, would look on. Think about their bench. Big Willie Mason and also on debut Carl Webb. Plenty of strike power there. For the Kiwis, well, for a debut for three young guys, no bigger stage. Have a feeling for them now. They'll be getting some calming, maybe last-minute thoughts from Coach Bennett and Stephen Kearney, and then it's on to the big stage for the first time.
Both teams wearing replica jumpers to what was showcased just across the road at the old Sydney Showground, just behind the O'Reilly stand here at the cricket ground, 100 years ago to the day. So much history and heritage at this wonderful arena. Rugby league, cricket, all the big names have played here. And in the greatest game of all, the likes of Gasnier, Churchill, Langlands, Raper, Fulton. A galaxy of stars it has been, and plenty on show here tonight. The Kangaroos, just for the record if you're wondering, no green and gold tonight. That basically encapsulates those old colonial rivalries between Queensland and New South Wales. The blue for New South Wales, the maroon for Queensland. And speaking of Queensland, the super coach, 6 times a premiership winner, Wayne Bennett, to IC, to new coach, Stephen Kearney.
Calm and experienced, cool and collected Wayne Bennett for sure. But would you believe collectively the Kiwis, in terms of experience, have 40 more test caps to their name than this Australian team? Quite hard to believe. Of course, Nathan Kalis carries most of those, having played 33.
And not only that, so much first-grade experience with the Kangaroos as well. Only 5 Kiwis, just to quantify that, with 100 games plus. On the flip side, 13 of the Aussies have played more than 100 games in the big time. Big winners they were. Need I remind you, at the Cake Tin last time they met, a game that all Kiwi sporting lovers would rather forget. Tonight, New Zealand seeking redemption on what is an historic night for international rugby league.
Okay, thank you very much.
These famous dressing rooms, I was in there during the week, Chook, just soaking up the atmosphere. Just had to pinch yourself, the fact that you were there.
An absolute pleasure just to be a part of this occasion. The Kiwis, who look like they'll enter the field first, I'd imagine they'll walk down the tunnel together. Somewhat English protocol, which will follow this year in the centenary year. A huge occasion.
That is the members' stand. Wonderful architecture that certainly has stood the test of time. And now Cameron Smith with a walk he won't forget in a long, long time. Fireworks going off in the background. 9 times the world champions, Australia, on the ground. So too the men in black. So much pressure on Sonny Bill Williams, one of the modern-day superstars of our game, tonight chasing his first ever win in a Kiwi jumper.
He's the key, the jewel in the crown as far as New Zealand's concerned. Many of these seasoned first graders now in the Kiwi pack about to step up against the old enemy. Brent Webb, somewhat of an unknown for this year for a lot of these Australians who wouldn't have seen him play a lot of football in the English competition. Will he have a few more tricks up his sleeve?
So the two teams lining up. Wonderful scenes here as the crowd has built up in the last 45 minutes or so as the two sides embrace in readiness for the respective national anthems. Down on the playing surface itself, the Australian Rugby League's team of the century, names like Wally Lewis, Mel Meninga, Reg Gasnier, Bob Fulton, all those past greats presenting the jerseys to the Kangaroos during the week.
We have received some very sad news tonight. The super coach, the great coach, Jack Gibson, passed away earlier this evening. We'd now like to ask that you stand.
So just pausing now for a moment's silence with news filtering
memory
through to the ground that the great coach Jack Gibson has passed away.
Thank you, ladies and
terribly
gentlemen.
sad
Very
news
sad
with
tonight.
Jack Gibson passing away, the team of the century coach, super coach with the Roosters, also with the Parramatta club, had been ill for some time. I'm sure he'll be looking down on the ground tonight, thinking this is a wonderful occasion for rugby league football. First, the Kiwi anthem. say, there is no shortage of expats in the crowd here tonight.
Now please remain standing for the Australian anthem to be performed tonight by the great-granddaughter of Dally Messenger. Ladies and gentlemen, Julia Messenger.
Terrific scenes. The great Chook Raper, John Raper, caught up with him during the week. He'll be lapping this up tonight, and a lovely touch there with the great-granddaughter of the legendary Dally Messenger performing Australia's national anthem. Saw some shots also of Norm Provan, the great Sticks Provan, part of that famous St George side that won 11 grand finals on the trot at this very same venue from 56 to 66. We go downstairs in the heart of the Sydney Cricket Ground now as the New Zealanders prepare for the traditional pre-match haka. Getting the blood boiling here at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Great to get rid of some of the nerves. Some of the youngsters in the team just want to get a taste of first haka. Is a great way to get a little bit of emotion out of the system.
Let's go sideline and lap it up, boys. How good is this?
How good is that? When you talk about trying to create and set a sense of occasion, well, none better than the haka. And Isaac Luke, look at the kid. His eyes are popping out. The youngster from Harwood, it's like he's been here 1,000 years. He can't wait to get amongst it. And joining me tonight, sideline, Stephen Price. You and I are going to battle hard tonight.
Yeah, mate, they're pumped up, obviously, but what a great crowd. It's filled up, big atmosphere, great occasion, and I can't wait for this kickoff.
Thank you, Stephen Price. Thank you, Ropo. We are set for battle here tonight in the Centenary Test. Ashley Klein from the UK is the referee. He is a Sydney sider, so don't be fooled. He is the man in charge. We're underway. Let the battle begin. And it's Thurston with the catch and Sivanasiva with the first carry of the Test match. It's the Kangaroos in the unfamiliar colours tonight of blue and maroon, bringing the ball away from the southern end of the ground, or the Randwick end of the Sydney Cricket Ground, working play to that right side of the field, and some smashing defence coming in too. Stinging defence it was, and on the receiving end was Michael Crocker, who starts tonight, something that he hasn't been accustomed to, of course, in recent times.
First one-up shot for Setamata. He'll enjoy that first tackle of the match on debut.
Getting rid of some nerves, no doubt, Darryl. Clearing kick here on the last, and look at all the time under the sun for Thurston.
All the talk pre-match was Thurston's ankle stick up to a rigorous kicking game, If he's had that injection in his ankle, would it hold up? As ball's loose, Australia's knocked it down.
Losing the handle, Brent Webb, I think it was. And in fact, a knock on both ways. Brent Webb, one of the two European-based players who have been rushed down under for this test match tonight, and just terrible ball security there. Paul Gallen making the tackle, but the onus on the ball carrier, and Brent Webb knows that he should have done a whole lot better there on that occasion. 90 seconds gone in the Centenary test, and great field position here as Thurston works the scrum for the Kangaroos. They go the right side. This is Greg Bird wearing 6, in, of course, in the absence of Darren Lockyer, who succumbed very early in the piece, of course. They turn it back on the inside. This is Petro Sivanasiva. He's the Rock of Gibraltar for the Kangaroos. 31st test match tonight, in fact, for Australia. Thurston going this left side. Here's Slater on debut, and a cutout ball. He was looking for Inglis, and his Melbourne teammate couldn't collect the pass. It was somewhat wayward, and it goes sailing over the sideline.
Good defence from New Zealand. They held their line and forced a big pass. Standing on the chalk out wide, Billy Slater throws the pass, but you knew what was coming at the back of the set of 6 if they'd said it. It was a kick to the corner to test their height. So New Zealand in a way dodged that artillery, and Australia's only their second set of 6.
And so much artillery too at that with this Kangaroo back line. So some safety first football you'd imagine here from the visitors. Rising to play the football back, Soliola, and now hitting it up. David Fa'alongo, who have his tails up coming into this game with poor old South Sydney finally getting their first win of the season last weekend against the Cowboys. Of course, a real good Redfern or Rabbitoh flavour to this Kiwi side is playing the ball back now, Sonny Bill Williams. And here's one of these bunnies that I was talking about, the captain of the New Zealand side, Roy Azatazi, and he's tackled about 7 metres short of halfway. Now Kalis, experienced plus, he's banged down. Good body contact it was from Gallen. But the tackle was high, I believe, yes. And late in the tackle count as well, so ouch, that hurts.
All the forwards getting their touch. Get that right a little bit high. In test match football, that's normally got away with, would you believe? Roy having a good scream at it. Everyone will get their first touch, and then we'll see the patterns of each game settle down and play. Where did New Zealand go at the end of their first attacking set in their half?
The boy from Nelson plays it back, and it was an awkward pick-up too for the hooker. Isaac Luke on debut. He's a pocket battleship, isn't he? He's 10 metres away. Ohio called up at the last minute. Plays it to this right side for the Kiwis. Look where they are. Aussies on their own goal line. 5 metres away, New Zealand. Let's see what they've got in attack. Smothering defence from the Kangaroos. They've gone backwards about 12 metres.
Shut down by Gaznia and had to.
And they come this left side. Luluwai turns it back on the inside for Kalis. And the Parramatta captain plays it back 10 metres out. Ohio, crossfield kick. And high above the pack, that's a very easy take in the end for Israel Folau. Such a wonderful talent. He came up with the Steeden very coolly and calmly.
Their department, aerial ball skills all over the park. And after their big front rowers have all had a hit, you watch their backs get in and do some scooting as they get a penalty, interference in the play the ball. A real strength of Australia's as well as their big man. They can get out of the dummy half area, Hodges in particular.
It was a very good pickup, wasn't it, looking at that replay? Isaac Luke must have had Tarzan's grip on the fingers.
Well, the disappointing end to a Kiwi set of 6 and attacking one with no competition for the football.
Well, DJ with only 4 minutes on the clock. It was an indifferent start by the Kiwis. A couple of unforced errors. Perrott exposed down on the left-hand corner here at one stage, and only fortunate enough that the ball went high. But also their way up the field in the way that they finished that set of 6. Off the pace.
Almost 5.5 minutes gone in the Centenary test, and Thurston hands it on and taking a buffeting there. Ryan Hoffman, part of this Melbourne Storm contingent being involved in the test match tonight. Almost a mix-up, maybe obstruction. Play continues. Ashley Klein, he was comfortable with that. The Aussies have still got it, and they're about 8 metres away. Gallen goes for a sortie from dummy half on debut, and he's repelled just as well for the Kiwis. Over the top was Mannering, and now the last has been signalled. Thurston, the playmaker, the go-to man. Oh, my goodness! How good was that? Greg Gasnier somehow looks to have profited from a wonderful play when all looked gone. Check this out.
The kick was good. I thought Perrott was trying to bat the ball over the sideline. They're all onside. Inglis is a huge man there. Here's a clean air swing at it. Where does his foot? He's in the air, in the field of play.
Outstanding.
Spectacular.
You won't see better in rugby league, perhaps either rugby code. Greg Inglis, look at the control, look at the balance, look at the presence of mind. And Gasnier, look at the football going to the ground. That's a try. What a try. What a cracking start to the Centenary Test.
2 in the box tonight.
Green light. We've got a green light at the SCG. Australia on the board at 4 points to 0. And you'll see plenty of replays of this one, Darryl. That was an absolute cracker.
The key here is the composure. He doesn't get it clean on the first take, but he just knows it's up there somewhere. He gets a hand on it, Perrott misses, up it goes. You're entitled to give it a miss after that, but not Inglis. Flicks it back over the head basketball style, and Gasnier, he's just waiting for it. Too easy.
DJ, forget about Michael Jordan. Put a cape on the man, call him Superman. That's why they get paid $1 million, because when they're called upon to come up with specials, they do exactly that. And that's called about having football awareness as well. Smart play.
He's a freak. An absolute freak is Greg Inglis.
Tracy, wipe that smile off your face.
I'll tell you what, anyone who loves rugby league would be smiling seeing that. That was just quite remarkable.
The skill factor is huge.
Jonathan Thurston, under that big injury cloud, as we said at the top of the show, coming into this one. He would have been needled up before the game. It's curling in, coming around. He has nailed it. Up go the Amy flags at the SCG.
I think Sam Perrott, if he had his time over again, would have caught that on the full. It would have went straight back to the 20-metre line. But both teams made crucial mistakes, giving penalties away at crucial times. Both settled down now, and that's a costly blow for the Kiwis.
Gasnier getting the try. Uncle Reg getting 2. Last time the Kiwis won at this venue, that was way back in 1959.
The Kiwis had a chance with a kick in similar circumstances, and Lance O'Hara couldn't quite put it on the spot. No problem for Thurston, however. That's the difference.
Big problems here for the Aussies, Darryl. They're coming up, rushing, aren't they? The men in black trying to force the mistake, and now looking to milk the penalty, perhaps. The Australians, the try scorer, Mark Gasnier.
Well, they need to get on the front foot, Costa, and they need to find that through the defensive game. The Aussies have already made it quite clear they're going to come down, they're going to kick to the corners, and they're going to use their height advantage to find some success on them. Big shout out to the Able boys at Kings as well. Hope you enjoy the game.
Well, Cameron Smith, he'll enjoy that set. Just what the doctor ordered after you come up with 6 points.
What about this? Jonathan Thurston, the amount of room he gives himself out wide and the bend he has coming back just inside the right-hand upright. Well, the curve on it's huge. Very difficult to do.
Arguably the greatest player in the competition nowadays, with all due respects to the likes of Lockyer and co.
And that's on one good leg.
Yes, we shouldn't forget that. 6-0 is the score. 9 minutes or thereabouts gone in the Centenary Test, and this is the boy from Nelson, Simon Mannering, and he goes to ground on the 20-metre line.
And this is what Australia wants you to do. They want to tire you out by working you out of your own end. Saw Cameron Smith duck out and put his left foot down out of the short side. A good kick. What's New Zealand got on the back of it? Who will be their kicker? They'll have to share it round.
As Atazi sharing the football, putting some pressure on Williams, and they keep it going, the Kiwis. And as a result of all that, they're about 9 metres short of halfway. Thurston making the tackle, and Gasnier, but there's a penalty forthcoming. Just too much in the tackle on Soliola, and Ashley Klein will have none of it.
We'll give them credit, they kept the ball alive there, and Sia Soliola's got a marvellous left-hand fend on him. This time he goes to ground with Gasnier all over him, and just the ability and the enthusiasm to play the ball quickly gets him another set.
Wait, guys, wait.
Here come the Kiwis once more, and on tackle one, it's the man they call SBW, Sonny Bill, playing it back on the Australian 40-metre line. As Atazi, he thunders upfield. Centre of the ground, 30 metres away, looks away, oh, he's caught the napping! What a brilliant solo effort, he's not far away! from Slater on debut. They come the right side. They rush up on Lulawai, and he is engulfed. Smothering tackle it was from Hoffman. Battle stations here for the Australians. Ho high, not sure where to go. And in the end, he links up with Nathan Kalis. What a tackle that was from Billy Slater, who's been in breathtaking form, it must be said, for the Melbourne Storm. On the last, they come the right side. Lulawai, the kick into the end goal is too deep.
Heartbreaking. The bust was marvellous from Luke. Boy, this kid has got some speed. Summed it up well. Lazy markers. Cameron Smith backing off, and he goes through. I thought he was there. He just gets one hand around his side of Slater and holds on for grim death. I thought there was going to be a reach out. The ball hadn't touched the ground. He would have been entitled to. Just quite not tall enough.
I'll tell you
the
what,
kick, well, that hurts for it to go in goal dead.
I'll tell you what, Darryl, he's had a big week too. The debutant hooker for the Kiwis, Isaac Luke, in the last 7 days, got his first win for the season with South, become a father for the second time, and of course the maiden call-up. Spoke to him before the game. He said he shook hands with Wayne Bennett, said he hadn't washed his hands. I hope he had a bath coming into this one.
Costo, you could probably add a little bit more to that. This is a kid, when he got the call-up, he wasn't quite sure what he needed to bring to camp. Roy Asatasi and David Pidwell said, bro, you just turn up, they give you everything.
Simple as that, simple as that.
The youth, don't you love it? A great kick here from Cameron Smith has pinned New Zealand down. New Zealand are about to get a penalty, are they? Or he's called knock on.
Knock on, loose carry.
He has called knock on. Just for a moment I thought there was a strip there, but a loose carry's been called, and Sam Perrott thinking what might have been.
I think it's Brent Webb, was it? No, Perrott. Tell me there's not a hand in there doing the tackle.
Well, there is a hand in the tackle.
Ripping at the ball.
Ryan Hoffman's had a good chop at him. Video ref can check this out. We've got 2 of them tonight, if you're wondering. One from either side of the ditch.
I'd love to know what they're going to do on a 50-50 call when they've got one from each side of the ditch in there.
Maybe phone a friend. Here we go. Aussies have got the ball with Slater. He goes to Bird, and now Gasnier's got the football. And that's a lovely tackle from the debutant winger, Jason Nightingale from St George Illawarra. And now, speaking of wingers, this is Israel Folau. 12 and a half gone in the Centenary test. And a flat ball to Michael Crocker. Play is allowed to continue here, and he's restrained by Mannering on that right side of the ground. Here's Sivanasiva passing before the line. Thurston going across to Ryan Hoffman, and he's wrapped up.
What do you think's coming at the end of this set of 6, Costo?
Crossfield kickers on the cards. Bird's got the football. He is shut down, and now we wait with great anticipation. Lucky not to concede the penalty, the Kiwis. They stack the short side, and Gasnier in the corner. You are a sneak. Uncle Reg would be proud. He gets a double. Does Mark Gasnier. Numbers are in the frame. It's the Kangaroos at 10-zip.
Caught them napping. They had it set up. Folau had his hand up in the air, way over on the right-hand side of the field for Australia to attack to. And they've just decided, wow, let's go down the short side. And why wouldn't you, when Gasnier's about 6'3" and 105, 106 kilos on Isaac Luke. All a little bit easy. Down the short side. Caught them napping.
Not so fond memories of the massacre at the Cake Tin last year when he got flattened by Steve Matai. But tonight, he is cooking with gas.
Well, the what-ifs and the whys, the rake and the play the ball from Australia puts them in this position, and they capitalise on it.
And it's going to be hard this evening as well. When you look at the size, the physical dominance that you got on the left-hand side, you got Inglis and Gasnier up against the likes of Luke and Perrott. It's never going to be an even contest.
Time off here at the cricket ground, and they don't come much tougher than this. Not even a metre in from touch. Jonathan Thurston right in front of the members and ladies stands. We'll ride it with you, Chook.
Look how far he'll send this out to the right.
And
not quite as much as last time.
Has brought it back too much. You read it beautifully, Darryl. No change to the scoreboard. It's Australia at 10-0. Largely thanks to Gasnier.
As we see there, Costo, the Australians, their left-hand side of the field, they're really attacking the right-hand side of the New Zealand team. And on the 5th tackle, you can't afford to allow that to happen. Should have been a try at the other end. The Kiwis have got to make the most of their opportunities.
Terrific anticipation from Gasnier, and look at Sivanasiva thrusting himself back into the defensive line after a quarter of an hour. Australia looking comfortable at 10-0. This is Kite getting it up to the 20-metre line, southern end of the ground.
Asatasi's come out, but worse for wear. Like I say, he's knocked out on his haunches in the back plate. The trainer will get to him shortly.
He's struggling big time. Slater moves into dummy half. Thurston showing it, turning it back on the inside. And going to ground is Ryan Hoffman. There is the New Zealand captain getting back in the line. He is struggling, though, it must be said, as Slater gets involved once more.
Good place to get involved too. That cricket pitch is very, very hard, which will make it slippery with a little bit of dew on it.
The chase is on for Nightingale. In more ways than one, will he be pinned? He will be. They jam him in the in goal. It's a 5-star kick chase and a little bit of argy-bargy perhaps. Jason Nightingale trapped in the in goal. They will get 6 more as Asatasi heads to the sideline.
So this time, from the kickoff, they've got to midfield this time. Instead of putting the left foot kick of Cameron Smith down the left-hand side of the field, they've gone across to Hodges, who chases down. And guess who's coming to town?
Public enemy number 1.
There he is. Asatasi off. I bet you he'd like to still be on. Where's Sonny Bill? Looking for Big Willie.
There's David Kidwell.
Well, he's just in front of me, gentlemen, but he's got a suit on, so he won't be taking part tonight. Disappointment on the back end of that play. Nightingale, first and foremost, should have been about getting that ball over that whitewash. Instead, he threw in a couple of steps, and that just delayed the opportunity to find himself back in the field of play.
So more ammunition here for the Kangaroos. Just confirming the change. Adam Blair from the Melbourne Storm is on the ground, with Asatasi relieved as a result of that injury. Sivanasiva goes to ground. Look at the Kiwis here again, camped on their own goal line. More tackling to do, more pressure, and maybe another try. Oh, that soft defence, marshmallow defence. What a dream debut for Paul Gallen. A try on debut for the Sharks enforcer. And the Kiwis concede once more. It is 14-0 and looking ominous.
3 times Australia have had kicks downtown. Twice when New Zealand have brought the ball back, they've knocked on, had loose carries. This time they couldn't get out of in goal, and Gallen right up the middle through some pretty ordinary ruck defences you've just seen. Webb at the back couldn't do too much. Having a fine match, got to dummy half for the last try for Gasnier and wheeled it down the blind side this time. That's not quite good enough from far. Longo coming across on his right shoulder.
Well, the biggest disappointment there, DJ Costa, is the fact that you're talking about a couple of tries. The one even prior to this as well, but that perhaps not entitled to be scored. Yes, they got good field position. They applied the pressure, but no way in the world should they have gone through there.
If you joined us late on Sky Sport tonight, Mark Gasnier with an opening double as we see Thurston grab the extras once more for the home side. And with that try to Gallen being converted, it's Australia coasting at 16 block.
Cameron Smith set up that play very good there. He's had 3 kicks so far, 2 of them gone to the left side of the Australians, and this time he curled it back to the right side. Obviously Nightingale not ready for it, and that same play again with the head runner going through. This time Gallen dummied and went himself.
Or restart practice for the men in black. Brent Webb getting us back underway to send us into the next passage of play. And it's Sivanasiva after a decade at Red Hill up there in Queensland with the Broncos. Now at the Penrith Panthers, of course. He plays it back. And the Australians, their most recent of try scorers, Gallen going upfield. And there's Wayne Bennett looking rather dismayed. He doesn't give too much away. We know that. 2 IC to Stephen Kearney, bringing so much to the table this week as New Zealand get on the road to redemption after what happened last year. And here is that public enemy number 1 I was talking about, Big Willie Mason, finally going to ground as Kearney looks on. They go the right side, Bird looking to set it up and taking a good solid hit there in defence. Oh, they keep it going. Justin Hodges, how did he get the football away? Look at the tackle count starting to mount for the Kiwis. It'll come back to bite them on the you-know-where if they keep that up. Cameron Smith still passing the football, linking up with Thurston. He steadies himself. He gets the kick away and it goes dead in goal.
Time with the football. New Zealand need it. as Webb warms up, looks like he'll get an introduction pass to this game. Perhaps 266 just to calm it down. Forget about the scoreboard. Play some football.
There's the possession count, 60-40 in round figures. And most of that possession for New Zealand, or what little possession they've had, has been at their own end of the football ground. Azatazi on the bench, just getting his faculties back in order as we move into the second quarter of the Centenary Test. This is Blair crossing the midway stripe. He's met by 3 willing defenders for the Kangaroos, including Cameron Smith, deputising tonight in the absence of Lockyer. Here's the last. There goes the kick. No pressure at the back on Slater. He'll gobble that up and bring it back with great gusto.
Kicking from 50 out. Far too deep. No pressure to contest it. As the way they go, you watch his outside backs get in from Australia and make some yards.
Well, Folau just then, Daryl, just threatening to go through the other side, and now they get the penalty.
Really, Isaac, offside.
Jumping the gun, Luke has been pinned by the man in charge. Hasn't he emerged as a fine leader, Cam Smith? Melbourne Storm, plenty of personal accolades as we see Jeremy Smith prepare to come into the battle. Sivanasiva, speaking of leaders, do they come much better than him in the front row? He's adjacent to the 10-metre line. The Aussies pressing for try number 4. Here comes Big Willie, and he's not too far away. Smack bang in front of the big goalpost pads at the northern end of the ground, and Cameron Smith has gone over. That's too easy. The Australian captain, he pinches 4 points.
Question mark on a double movement. I don't know if anyone had a great deal of a hold of him. Someone could have had a hand on him. That would have been about all. He ducks down through the tackle. It's certainly a double movement.
Well, we come back to the 50-50 calls. 2 video refs. Was he held? Was he entitled to keep going? You at home be the judge.
Well, I think he's actually slid through that tackle of Isaac Luke. There you go. He's out of it there. He's got the hands of Blair on him.
I think he's entitled to do it. Head down, bum up.
But hands placed on the player technically could call this back. I agree with you, Costo. He certainly deserves to get through and score a try when there's that sort of tackling going on, which is pretty minimal and marginal. But technically, he could be in trouble.
Well, the Kiwis may well be bailed out here on a technicality, thanks to Bill Harrigan and David Pakiito. No, there is no bailout. They concede another 4. Oh dear, it is looking ugly, and we've got a long way to go. You can't deny it. It's the Kangaroos now at 20 points to 0.
Well, they are threats all over the park, as we know. We've talked about the threats out wide. Inglis, Folau and the guys in the air. Australia have really taken advantage of some pretty ordinary ruck defence. Sure, we've had no football. The guys are tired. The tackle count is double the Australians. But in and around your ruck, that's where it starts.
Well, and none better than Cam Smith as well. Just to put an insight into this guy. He's only 24. He captains the side for the 2nd time. He's going to be around for a long time.
Is he what? Another 2 points in the bank for Jonathan Thurston and the Kangaroos. Look at that. Don't adjust your sets. It's Australia cruising at 22 zip.
New Zealand got to stop giving penalties away. That gave Australia the opportunity to get down the other end again very easily. And Cameron Smith should not be allowed to do that from dummy half. There's no way he should be able to get over the try line, hardly armed, hardly touched.
Sonny Bill Williams, the face tells the story. Here comes the man they call Big Charlie. Carl Webb on debut, could have been Kiwi, son of a Maori shearer in the Australian outback. Special moment for the North Queensland Cowboys forward tonight. He takes the place of Sivanasiva. There he is, big Carl Webb, such an intimidating player for club, state and perhaps country, I dare say. Hoffman plays it back. Cameron Smith goes to Bird. Bird takes them on, makes some easy meters, about 5 short of halfway in fact now. Gasnier keeps it going. He promotes the football for Gallen, the 2 try scorers, the first 2, that is, combining, and the last has been signalled. They go back to Thurston. Again, he's got too much time, but it's out on the full.
This time, just a little bit of pressure on Jonathan Thurston. Not quite the room to kick the ball that Cameron Smith has out of dummy half. And there you see it. Farlongo, I think it was, putting the pressure on him, making him turn to kick, which sends it out by a metre.
But DJ, you talk about a little bit of pressure on Thurston. We talked about it in the pre-game, and we would have expected a hell of a lot of pressure coming on the kick man, putting him in all sorts of bother. A number of kicks have been deployed, and we've yet to see it.
New Zealand searching for their 28th victory against the Australians tonight. The Aussies with 82 wins to their names. There's been the 2 draws as the Kiwis spread the football. Saar has got it, still going, 15 metres away. Now a test for the Kangaroos, and it's taken some time. O'Hire with some stepping and is going not far from scoring. 2 metres away. They're lined out nice and deep. The visitors with Lulawai with the step. Chopped down right in front of the horns. Randwick end of the ground, 6 metres away. Oh dear, O'Hire has come up with a spill. They couldn't even get to their kick.
When you talk about applying pressure, the line speed of Australia was fantastic there. New Zealand's attack was great, but they kept coming at them. 3 times we've been down here now. First, the kick didn't get to the right place on the line. Second, a win and goal. And third, on the last play to get to the kick, a fumble.
Half-time for Stephen Kearney cannot come soon enough. A wayward ball there for the Australians, but it's retrieved in the end. Bird plays it back. And now Michael Crocker hits it up. Toughest teak forward from the Melbourne Storm. You'd imagine one of the first players to be chosen by the Queensland Origin selectors when that maroon side is named next Tuesday as we count down to this year's Origin series. Here's Brent Webb linking up with his winger in Sam Perrott, the International Rookie of the Year for the Kiwis last season. And they get a penalty here, the Kiwis.
Calling it a flop. Jonathan Thurston trying to rake the ball one-on-one. It finally goes low. And then it was Thurston across the top.
They find the line, the Kiwis lead the penalty count, if nothing else. 3-2 it is. Pritchard on tackle 1, goes to ground, 9 metres, Australia's side of halfway. You are watching the Centenary test as Sonny Bell looks to set it up for the Kiwis. And we've got a penalty here.
Good call there. Webb supporting on the outside as Crocker is the Australian who's taken him out, tackled him before the ball, as you see this there. A nice interchange, first from Sonny Bill to Blair, and then Blair the offload. That was better.
O'Hire with the touch finder.
And that was better.
Can they build some pressure? Something the Aussies are almost careless in that aspect of the game. Luke moves into dummy half, and he goes to Lulawai, first receiver. And Jeremy Smith, it is, in the 14, who goes to ground. Again, right in front of the sticks. And they're going to try and come up with a barge over try, but they spill the football. Adam Blair was involved in the thick of it. So too Isaac Luke, but again, they cough it up.
And guess who the tackler was for Australia? It wasn't one of their big men, Jonathan Thurston. Gets down low,
great
whacks
technique.
it onto his shoulder.
Great technique.
In his defence, Blair hadn't actually grabbed a hold and secured the possession of the ball before Thurston hit him. Standing in the front line, not hiding out to and from the wing, Thurston. Marvellous player.
There's the completion rates, if you're wondering. Not surprisingly, the home side in charge in that aspect of the game. 12 minutes out from Oranges here. 3-3 is the interchange count, and just to bring everybody up to date, we're playing under international rules tonight. That means you've got 12 changes to play with, as opposed to 10, which is now the story in the NRL competition. So the Australians now with Carl Webb, and he offloads Thurston. He throws the dummy. No one is fooled. Certainly not Jeremy Smith. And now a clearing kick from Cameron Smith. And he finds open pasture between fullback and winger, and it's the latter in Nightingale who retrieves the football. And there's the reception committee.
Crocker, boy, he's got some aggression in defence, workaholic as well. As Kalis gets bandaged up, I think it's Kalis down there. Perrott coming off his right wing over to the left side to come in and do some work, more of that required as well. And just when Australia maybe it's starting to get 50-50 with a little bit of possession, New Zealand coming, they'll bring on a strike weapon, someone like Gidley.
Yes, Gidley warming up the sideline. Great ball from Simon Mannering, and Nightingale's away. He launches the kick. Will it bounce? You betcha. But getting back there for the Kangaroos, Greg Inglis. And look at this, baby. The counter-attack has been launched. Everyone at the SCG on the edge of their seats. This is the Centenary Test.
Perrott, after being pushed away, comes back at him again with a shot. Gasnier out of dummy half. Boy, he's exciting. No room for that man. He doesn't need it. He can carve you anyway.
And what you're starting to get on the left-hand side is a bit of carving, because you're starting to get a little bit of football. You've got Sonny Bill Williams starting to use the football, looking at those, particularly the likes of Adam Blair. On the last occasion, it was Mannering and Nightingale on the back end of it. But they're going to start to find a way through this Kangaroo side, and that's about using the ball, running the holes.
It's also about gang tackling. Just ask Willie Mason. Oh, coming in, weren't they, in good numbers? And eventually we get to play the ball. Less than 10 to go before half-time. Cameron Smith, no one tricked this time as he threw the dummy out of dummy half. And the last coming up now for the Kangaroos. Pressure on Thurston. Hurried kick despite the attention of Luke. And a pretty good bounce in the end here for Nightingale. A little bit of a goose step, was it? Haven't seen that for a while.
Banana kick from Thurston, finds Nightingale, comes in, actually slips over. Well, Satasi looks like he's come to his senses after being knocked out, having some concussion. He'll be wanting to get back on there to lead his troops.
22-0 scoreline at the Sydney Cricket Ground. First time we've been back here for Trans-Tasman Rugby League since 1986. And the New Zealanders here about 12 short of halfway. Playing it back is Frank Pritchard from the Penrith Panthers. Zipping out a dummy half, that's very good metres from Hallertau.
Good support from Webb on the inside as well.
O'Hire got the kick away, and it may well find the line. Just, or did it? No! We're not going to go to the video referee either. The touch judge was in perfect position. So too Billy Slater. He was playing to the whistle. He came up with the football.
Bizarre kick. Bizarre. Bounces just inside the pole.
I reckon it's hit the chalk. He's missed
it.
He's got to get a start at the optometrist first thing Monday morning.
Well, get that video ref to dial a friend and get some help.
He needs it.
You're right beside him, Ropo. Go and have a word.
So too the touchy.
Pricey won't let me go.
We are 8 minutes out from half-time, 22-0. The fifth and final coming up now for the Kangaroos. Just for the record, it was 26-0 last time these two sides met at half-time. Thurston got the kick away. Some good pressure applied by Simon Mannering.
And look at the result. Sure, Nightingale gets upended, but they attack from 40 out off their own line. A little bit of pressure, finds the kicker, find the receipt person on the full.
Much better outcome for the visitors. Webb plays it back. Can the Kiwis take something into half-time? They keep it going here. Hohai's got the football, and he's harassed.
By the second phase football coming courtesy of Saar. Mannering on that side. This is better play.
And we've got a penalty here. Inside the 10 is the call from Ashley Klein, Aussie born and bred referee out of the UK Super League, who's been brought down for this historic occasion and looking to get on with the job quickly, and rightly so the Kiwis, with Lulawai and a very dodgy touch finder, it must be said.
Twice we've come up a metre short from dummy half.
Here's Mannering on tackle one. 15 metres away. They dearly like to come up with something here, at least a repeat set, if not points. Adam Blair will play it back, 8 metres away. Lulawai. And some smothering defence on Brent Webb. Gasnier take a bow. Ball and all tackle, it certainly was. Sonny Bill back on the inside. He goes to Soliola, and they look threatening just for a moment there. The Aussies on their own goal line. Halatau scoops it up, goes to Smith. And the Melbourne back rower will play it 5 metres shy of the goal line. Halatau, crossfield kick from Hohire. Some pressure out wide on the Kangaroos. Oh, no pressure. They're too big. Forwards, backs. On this occasion, it's Folau once more, diffusing the situation.
Great shield from Hodges as well. Saar goes up, but is somewhat blocked by the bulk of that man in Folau. They're marvellous. They look alike. Folau probably the heavier between him and Inglis. But it's a non-contest really with the ball in the air.
I'll tell you what, Daryl, admittedly, Nightingale has had some success with the aerial raids with the Dragons this year, but geez, they're big wingers, aren't they, the Australians?
Speaking of big men, Willie Mason struggling.
And also keep an eye on the number 7 for the Kiwis as well, Thomas Lululuwai as well.
Thurston kicking from the 30-metre line. So defensively, that's a fair set from New Zealand. And bringing it back on the kick return is Sam Perry.
Australia not quite as fresh as what they were in the first 20 minutes, courtesy of now some defence coming their way as Nightingale tries to slip down the right-hand side from the left wing. Soliola at dummy half.
Here he goes, looking to wind up for a Rooster, centre 3/4.
He's a marvellous athlete, is Soliola.
And so too this man, Sonny Bill Williams. It comes out the back door and it's 6 to go. That's an excellent result for New Zealand. Dean Halatau to play the football back. Pritchard looking to slip the one-hander. Sanity prevails on this occasion. Hohire, short ball for Williams. Sonny Bill looking to offload, can't do so. That's good work from Tupou in defence to wrap up the ball. And they go to Lululuwai, first receiver. Back on the inside to Blair. He goes to ground, 17 metres away from the goal line. Kiwis looking for their first points in the Centenary test. Lululuwai threading the needle. Oh, Billy Slater. He shuts it down. Safety first at the back. On debut or not.
Nice kick. Thomas Lululuwai goes to the line this time. And Perrett's alive for the kick on the outside. But when you're blessed with the speed of Billy Slater covering up at the back, he just darts across. They come to the right, feeds it through. It bobs up as well, and just as Perrett enters the frame, Slater whacks it behind.
Billy Slater, the former track work jockey, after 2 years in the representative wilderness. Back for arguably the biggest game of his career. Has had grand final success, of course, but indeed, a milestone night for Billy. And bringing it back, some heavy contact it was, Adam Blair.
Gallen just threw himself at him.
Mannering,
good run.
Inside the 20, and away from dummy half. Some easy metres. 3 minutes out from half time. Lululuwai's got the football. Back for Sonny Bill Williams. He goes to ground. Thurston's there. A little bit of a wrestle in the tackle as well. Brent Webb at dummy half. Lululuwai, the little men combining. Hohire threading the needle on the other side of the park and snuffing it out this time is Israel Folau.
Bring the ball over here. Bring the ball over.
Sustained pressure. Can it bring some points? Twice they've gone with the ball along the ground and it looks threatening. It's taken their very best to cover it up. This time Inglis drops back and as if he's scoring a try, dives to save one.
Cameron, let's go. Stay behind, guys.
A rare moment in the match where the Australians get their breath as we move inside the final 2 minutes of the opening stanza. Ohio with the catch. So back-to-back sets for the Kiwis. Let's see if they can profit from that. In fact, the third set in a row, I should remind myself and everyone else for that matter. So sustained pressure it is, certainly on the Kangaroos here. Will they wilt? We'll soon find out as Sonny Bill loses control of the foot. He went back, says the referee. It's still play on. It's 6 to go, in fact. Will they panic? Will they spread it? Oh, they make a mess of it. Was there a knock on? No, says the referee. It's still on here. Nightingale cuts back in field.
Great pass from Saar.
Now the New Zealanders with Ohio to Lulawai. Goes to Sonny Bill. There's the offload. Now some second phase. Now they're looking dangerous. And now the Australians are offside.
All offside.
And I'll give you the tip. They won't be calling for the ball boys for the sand. Quick to get on with the job is Halatau. Pritchard. Here they go. Lulawai. The number 7 looking to slice through. 40 seconds out from half-time. Can the Kiwis crack them? Looking for that first try. Down 22 blot. Soliola plays it back. Williams, they're standing still. Slow motion rugby league. Now Mannering, finally some movement. Running onto the football, 11 metres away. They go the left side. Ho higher. The pressure mounts on the Kangaroos. Good tackle it was. It was Tupou. They come back the right side and Ho higher has made a meal of it. And New Zealand will finish the first half scoreless in the Centenary Test.
They seem to shift the ball sideways, just looking for an offload, maybe a lazy hand in the tackle, and at the end of it, poor old Lance coughs it up, eating the yards up, moving forward. But the attack was all lateral. No one really steaming onto it. Back in the little bit of body strength up at top to get an offload away to make a hole, and Australia covered it.
They did more than cover it. They backed up 3 times, they were called to task, and they matched anything that was thrown at them.
Let's go, Anthony.
Kiwis, on the other hand, they look tired of thinking of ideas as to what it is that they could throw at the Kangaroos.
You have to wonder what Stephen Kearney and his 2IC, Wayne Bennett, will say in the half-time address. Maybe a couple of Churchillian speeches coming up in the sheds at the Sydney Cricket Ground. We've got half-time in the Centenary Test, 4 tries to 0. It is 22 blot at the split, and the battle for the Bill Kelly Cup will have first half highlights and a whole lot more from the SCG on the other side of this. Such a machine, aren't they, Daryl Halligan? I'm sure they'll be thinking one more try could well put the Kiwis to sleep.
They certainly are a machine. And the New Zealand side, the way they started that first half with 2 loose carries, a team like Australia is going to carve you up. It sucks the energy out of you. This half's a new one for New Zealand. Their first 10-15 minutes will be crucial to see whether they'll be competitive.
So all is almost set for the second half, and we're getting whispers downstairs that Ruben Wiki, the 55-game world record holder for the Kiwis, is putting on a yellow shirt, a trainer's shirt. So some on-field rev-ups, you'd have to think, coming the Kiwis' way in this second stanza. Willie Mason getting fired up for the resumption of hostilities. And Billy Slater, great start to his Test career. There's Jake DeMus. He's been into the phone box and changed out of the suit, a la Superman, and we're back underway in the Centenary Test, and it's Nightingale who brings it back to the 20.
And gentlemen, we talk a lot about the Kiwis and the fact that how they've got to start the second half. Forget about the scoreboard, but let's not overlook the Kangaroo mindset as well. Craig Young, the assistant coach manager of this football side, came out and made it quite clear. We're not finished with the Kiwis yet.
Yes, great man, the man they call Fat Albert, part of this all-star cast with the Kangaroos. Alan Langer, Kevin Walters, John Cartwright. Haven't they got some brains in that Kangaroo Brains Trust? Inside the opening 60 seconds we go of the second half, and the last is upon the Kiwis. This is Hohia, there goes the kick, and it will bounce between fullback and winger.
Amazing that Australia let that bounce. Gasnier to play the ball. A good set of 6 to start. Sonny Bill had 2 touches in it, and a fine run from Halatau out to the right.
This is Greg Inglis playing it back. What a talent he is. We saw that in the first half, setting up that freakish try to Mark Gasnier, the first of a double. Now pictures tonight coming courtesy of the 9 Network. And now Seven Asiva hits it up for the home side. Referee Klein has the arm extended, hence the kick from Jonathan Thurston. And whoopsie daisy, Brent Webb with a little bit of a nervous moment at the back. He got the juggle. In the end, he scooped up the footy, and the Kiwis have still got it. This is Nightingale getting some treatment. Aussie born, but plenty of Kiwi pedigree for Jason Nightingale. Mannering now. He'll go all day. This time he's stopped 10 short of halfway. Halatau scoops it up. Goes across to Pritchard. Into enemy territory, the Kiwis go. Lulawai going across to Sonny Bill Williams. They keep it going. Soliola's away. Get out of my way. He's got support. Steadies himself. Doesn't need the support. Soliola. He supplies the spark. And the Kiwis finally crack them. They're on the board in the Centenary Test. Are they on their way back? 22 plays 4.
I mentioned first in the first half of the call what a fine athlete this man was, and Soliola. He's got some speed for a big man. Sonny Bill plays his part. A nice ball, gets bootlace by Thurston, and then he puts on the gas. A fend on Inglis. Webb's on the inside where he should be. Turns Slater inside out. Doesn't need Webb and just goes to the line himself. Big man Sia, good pace, and that fend coming into action once again.
And perhaps what we saw at the back end of the first 40 as well was starting to play the football, looking for the offloads, looking for the second phase play. And the big play there was Jonathan Thurston moving up on Sonny Bill. The ability to stand, find a bit of a out the back door. And then Soliola was all enough to be able to find his way to the line.
Ruben Wiki talking it up for the Kiwis. Just what the doctor ordered. Soliola tonight playing just his 7th Test match. The Bondi Express, robust centre 3/4, classic build, as the boys have said. And now Jeremy Smith, of all people. New sponsor this year for the Kiwis, the Pertec Kiwis. A new kicker to boot, new coach, maybe the start of a new beginning. It's a new second half. Up go the flags. An encouraging sign on that scoreboard, 22-6. Great start.
The more we see Sonny Bill get involved, I think the better for the Kiwis. And obviously field position on halfway, it's an area where you don't really know how to defend. Fullbacks, wingers come up, go back, and Jonathan Thurston there by himself on Sonny Bill Williams, very hard to stop.
Soliola had plenty of work to do, and in the end, he got the job done. Back to work we go. It's Blair. And muscling up in defence, the Australians. He is repelled, driven backwards, back towards his own sticks. Sam Perrott still going. Great run, still going. Must have spiders on his back. And look at the football. Soliola, the try scorer. Give him the speed, and they say. And how good was that? They've travelled something like 70-odd metres upfield. Lulawai goes to Smith, the goal kicker, the bench forward in the 14. 5 gone, second half action. Halatau into dummy half. Sonny Bill setting it up for Webb. They stack the short side. Soliola, hasn't he seen plenty of the football since he had some oranges?
And that's a great take as well. The right-hand side for New Zealand's Williams, and Soliola is on fire.
Pritchard now coming to the fore. On the last, they're 10 metres away. High with the kick. Oh, Billy Slater, fingertip control at the back. How good was that?
That's a marvellous catch. He comes up with some marvellous plays at some marvellous times, and what a place to come up with a catch like that.
Oh, the little master, Clive Churchill, Langlands, Wombat Edie. We've had some great custodians grace the hallowed turf of this place. Bobby Simpson, one of the great slippers, Mark Taylor, they'd be proud as well. Just a privilege to be part of this iconic venue for such a special occasion. 6 gone, second half, and a clearing kick from Thurston. And a bouncing ball here for Sam Perrott, who set the platform for that wonderful set it was to put some pressure on the Australians. And there's a change already, Peter, downstairs.
And we're not quite sure what the problem is with Willie Mason, but he's seated down just in front of us now. But also a lot of movement on the Kiwi bench as well. Don't expect too long. David Farlongo, Isaac Luke, Kalis, Roy Asatasi all warming up.
So Mason gets a spell. He played for Tonga at the World Cup 8 years ago. Speaking of the World Cup, of course, it'll be held on these shores at the end of the NRL season. There is Big Mason, one of the regulars for the Australians in recent times, since making his debut back in 2002. Here comes the last for the Kiwis. They come the left side. Hohaya providing the kick, and it will bounce, touch in goal, and they'll come back to the 20 for the tap restart.
Just overcooked from Lance Hohaya, coming to the left-hand side. The kick had too much on it. Its only hope was the bounce after his kick. That he knows that was not really his best. But the right-hand side for New Zealand's been great.
Come on, leave him alone, Jeremy.
Has it
Sunnyville and Soliola, they can stand up.
Hey, you got him. Leave him alone.
We go back to the early change of Willie Mason as well. Could that very well be a masterstroke by Ricky Stewart, sensing that the Kiwis are starting to get it on the front foot? You need to find something. You need to make a statement to your side. Didn't hesitate at all. I need a shift. I need a change in attitude. And Willie Mason off.
So that touch finder puts the Australians well and truly on the attack. This is Brent Kite from the Manly club. 30-odd metres out from the Kiwi goal line. Petro Sivanasiva, oldest man on the park, he goes to ground. Stewart has used up half his interchanges. Just 4 for Kiwi coach Stephen Kearney. That pass looked to be forward, right in front of our commentary position at the SCG. Play continues, and Folau will play it back. Smith got away from one. They come again.
That's better defence.
Look at the enthusiasm. Gallen, lucky not to concede the penalty there. Saar, play continues. A cutout ball from Bird. Oh, hello, danger signs here. Hoffman still going. Now he goes to ground. Lulawai makes a very good tackle indeed.
But a total change in defence. They're pushing up hard and fast and making Australia play.
Now looking for a catch, a clean catch. That's an excellent outcome for the Kiwis. Nightingale on the full in the in goal. Maybe looking to play to the whistle. They're the rules. You catch it in the in goal, you must come back to the 20. This is Mannering.
Momentum is a big thing in rugby league. New Zealand's had good, clean, quick plays of the ball the last 3 times they've had it. And you just imagine if someone like Isaac Luke was on the field when they were going forward.
The Aussies tonight doing a little bit more tackling. And that's exactly what they're called upon to do right now. David Farlongo back on the park in that cricket pitch area of the SCG as Halatau goes for a sortie from dummy half, where he's put on his backside by Cameron Smith and Brent Pike. The last has been issued here by the referee, Ashley Klein, and the kick finds the deck. That's a start for the Kiwis, so some work to do here for Folau. It's a fair chase. They bang him down 15 out from his own goal line.
So obviously the ploy with the kicking game is it just wants you to find some space. When we get down the sand, of course, it's not too much use going to the air on the flanks when you've got Folau and Inglis. Perhaps you could go to the air on Slater, slightly smaller man in the middle of the field, but otherwise just find the ground.
Brent Kite plays it back. Less than half an hour to go in the Centenary test. 22 plays 6. And that's Hoffman offloading to Gasnier. He's already got 2. He steps on the gas. He passes infield. It's a flick ball. The pass has gone forward. Play has been recalled, but the Aussies look very dangerous when Mark Gasnier gets into the clear.
Gasnier knows he should have taken the tackle and just played again. A huge bust. New Zealand come up and in. Don't quite stop the football. Sonny Bill tries the ankle tap. Good tackle from Webb. Read it well. Perrott did well to stay out. Quick play the ball would have had New Zealand in trouble.
Forget about the quick play the ball. If Gasnier had looked on the inside as well, he would have found an unmarked first and ready to go.
Yes, Peter, even on one leg, you would have thought he would have covered the distance. Dean Halatau plays it back. The Kiwis now hard and straight, attacking the northern end of the ground, the Paddington end. Smith passing before the line, goes to Lulawai. Now Soliola, who looks dynamite in this second stanza. Captured by Gasnier. Perrott, the acting dummy half. And now head down for the Kiwis is Jeremy Smith. That's the 10-metre line you can see, so they've made good progress, haven't they?
Luluai's pointed to the air.
Lulawai it is, who goes to the heavens, a crossfield kick, and the ball goes loose in the end goal. Stacks on the mill. We've got a goal line dropout.
Good kick. Well placed. Contested.
Stay behind.
All the components you want
Bring it over,
on your last play. And it's a little bit infield as well. They target Hodges this time as he just tries to bat the ball out. New Zealand will get the ball back.
Let's go, Cameron. Come on. Wait, guys.
So more possession here for New Zealand, and bandaged up, ready to go again is Nathan Kalis. O'Hire goes to Mannering.
Interesting to note that both Kalis and Sivanasiva, the two old stages in each team, both started their first grade careers in '98, 10 years ago.
Two of the senior statesmen of the NRL. Still going strong. Palatau getting it out wide and ends up in the hands of Sonny Bill, and Soliola has got the footy once more. In the corner, the northeastern corner of the SCG. Williams at first receiver, looks to lay it on a platter for Jeremy Smith. The old hit and spin. How close is he? The last coming up now. The ball's shot loose. What the heck's happened there? It's a penalty. Look at Smith. Some claret coming from the face of the Melbourne Storm back rower.
Marvellous play. A standing start from Sonny Bill. Pierces the line. And someone knows to go with him.
Jeremy Smith has been ordered to go out off the playing surface to get that wound treated.
Hasn't he made some yards, Halatau, since he's been on the field?
Barking some instructions to Chook. Kiwis now looking to pitch the tent to come up with their second try of the Centenary Test. Lulawai, Kalis, crowding across the ground, and he's captured by Tupou. They go from dummy half through Halatau, who loses the football. Was there a strip? No. So the Aussies are off the hook after all that.
Pats on the back for Sivanasiva.
See you guys on the line.
I was hoping they were just going to settle one more and then shift it back to our right-hand edge. This is where Sonny Bill pokes his nose through the hole and just absolutely smashed by 4 Australians. Crocker would be one in there for sure. Halatau, good tackle down low from Sivanasiva.
Some of his Penrith teammates should take note. Here he goes, the Penrith captain. Sivanasiva playing it back, and Hodges, nice ball there to his fellow Queenslander, and Slater is feeding off him. Luckily for the Kiwis, Smith was there to make the stop defensively. Thurston fires it across to Bird, and the makeshift Australian pivot goes to ground. Luke on the sideline, stalking the sideline. Fifth and final coming up, and it's Cameron Smith, the Kangaroo captain, who puts it up. Good clean catch at the back from Brent Webb. Nowhere to go. Came down under. First class treatment for Brent Webb. Limousine ride from Cardiff to London, then all the way coming into Sydney town, joining his teammates late for this one. In fact, the Kiwis actually only had 2 full sessions with their full complement of players, as we see some very risky play ending up in the hands of Mannering, passing perhaps in a dangerous situation for mine as they bring it away from their own end.
Great defensive set from Australia, courtesy of a good start by Hodges after the kick. Got an ability to drag the player backwards in the kick chase. This is the last.
And there goes the kick. Lance O'Hire, not a lot of depth, bouncing ball. Slater attacking the ball, offside play. has been recalled. No one was going to stop him, but Ashley Klein says, come back here.
They were all in front of her higher for sure. The ball went backwards. And there'll be Saar coming into your picture now, running alongside the touchy.
And guys, just an update on Kiwi captain Roy Asakasi as well. He's still down here on the bench. He's under observation for that suspected concussion, and at the moment suggesting that it is highly unlikely that we'll see him back.
Thank you, Peter. So, some concern there for Stephen Kearney in more ways than one. Sivanasiva punched over in back play, getting some attention from the Kangaroo trainer Ron Palmer as the Aussies go on the attack with Thurston back on the inside. Around the bootlaces, Dean Hallertau. And now looking to come across for their first try of the second half. Hodges comes up with a spill, but it was looking dangerous there for New Zealand. Justin Hodges dropping the football, butchering a try in the process.
Creating some space on the right-hand side of their attack, Australia. Hodges, a fine finisher. Cops a pass out in front of him. A little bit low, but he should have taken it.
Fine in, Billy. Michael, stay in.
Good numbers.
Brett,
2 on 2.
Cameron, arms around.
Falau on the outside.
I would have backed him. 7-7 is the interchange count as we come up towards the 1 hour mark. 22-0 it was at half-time. It was a big rip-roaring start. They were racing the clock. Point a minute at one stage as we see Nightingale take on the Kangaroos. Gasnier with the opening double, the first one. I'll tell you what, anyone who's in the ground tonight, they'll walk away, and that alone, they got value for money. Marvellous try set up by Inglis. Gallen and Smith also getting across the stripe. Then the reply from Soliola to try and get the Kiwis back in the match in the opening exchanges of the second half. Good tackle, solid as a rock. Simon Mannering, that's how you do it, he says.
Welcome to the shoulder, he says. Another good hit as well from Hallertau. Watch this, Slater goes back and round the ruck. Mannering was at marker. Whacks him backwards.
Let's go sideline. Pricey, you've got something to say?
Yeah, mate, Kirk Italy hasn't had a run yet, and I think it'll be a perfect time to get him on there now. There's obviously 20 minutes to go, and you know, he'd actually give some more enthusiasm and spark to the Australian attack at the moment, I think, which is needed.
Just the one test match for the Newcastle utility, and the ball's gone loose. Sonny Bill has dived on the scraps. They'll take that, the Kiwis.
Had he dived too early, he was nearly going to crawl for it. Done well.
And Sam Perrott is still motoring and eventually collared by Kite. Luke out of dummy half.
Good work, working the ruck too. Going one way, holding up the ruck players and then shifting the football.
Part of the new breed of Kiwi, so many changes to the side that struggled big time to knock over John Money's Frenchman in November last year. The back end of a horror year for the Kiwis. Here they go, looking to press the go button. Some stepping from Saar, 5 metres away.
Finally they get that play right. Webb was deep enough.
On the last, as we move into the final quarter, bombs away from Hohaya. The ball's bouncing around, and the Kiwis have got it.
Into the buffalo. Come off you, and the bloke was offside.
They got a penalty. Accidental offside against the Australians. Another penalty to New Zealand. Another opportunity. It's a tap and go, you'd have to think. That's exactly what we get. And here comes Kalis. Couple of metres shy of the goal line. Luke says we'll go the right side. A bouncing ball. Soliola looking to set it up. Oh, they lose it early in the tackle count. Sam Perrott couldn't collect the pass. And the face of disappointment on the outside backs of the Kiwis.
Well, it was a loose pass to start with. And Sia Soliola gets the ball in his hands. He knows there was an opportunity there. The ball hit the ground, and just as a good clean pass here it's a show. Sure, Inglis looks to push him over the sideline, would have had a shot on him, but if he gets the ball in his hands and initiates the contact, there's the chance.
Feet down. Let's bend Petro. Out. Play on. Play on.
42 tackles, we are told, for Cameron Smith, with 18 and a half to go. Talk about a captain's knock.
Jonathan Thurston's flicked that ball up in the tackle and somehow managed to regather it.
Lovely hit there from Soliola, who came flying in defence. There was a suggestion the ball was propelled into a Kiwi. That should have constituted a knock-on, but the match officials obviously seeing things differently. This is Greg Bird for the Kangaroos, and there's the offload almost. Did he lose the ball? No, says the match.
Well, he lost it, but he lost it backwards is what the ref said there.
Referee, well, that answers that question. There goes the kick from Thurston. There's a change being made by Ricky Stewart. And as Steve Price, our guest commentator tonight on Sky Sport, said just a moment ago, where is Kurt Gidley? Pricey, your question has been answered. Here's Sonny Bill, winding up for the Kiwis, looking to inspire the Kiwis. Made his debut in 2004, hasn't won a game for New Zealand, has missed 20 games along the way, I might add. Luke goes to Alatau. Running back rower, can play in the centres, dummy half, he can do just about everything, Dean Alatau. Here's the last, there's the kick, off the boot of Lulawai, and once more straight down the throat of an Australian. This is Inglis.
Straight to him. Lulua chases his kick hard, tries for a one-on-one steal. Here it is here. Set up on the right-hand side. Pierces it through. And Inglis, Johnny on the spot. Been there all day.
So much real estate at the SCG, yet he couldn't find the turf.
He just seems to be going in second gear, Inglis, when he does anything. You know he's not. You know he's going flat out. He just seems to do it all so casually as Gidley gets his welcome to the cricket ground.
Speaking of
right in the middle of the cricket pitch.
Carl Webb is back on. Here's Gasnier. Still going. Finally put away by Sonny Bill. On the last, Thurston got the kick away. Oh, beautiful rugby league. Hodges supplying the pass. And Folau supplying the finish. Thank you very much.
Check the onside.
They'll check the tape, but from up here, it looked picture perfect.
When you see Jonathan Thurston's kick, you check the line here and how many Australians were queuing up right across the park. He chooses to kick. Look at them. They're all onside, no problem at all. And Saar, he tries to get back, thinks he might have a bit of a crack at it, but he's not quite tall enough. Hodges is all over it. Thought he might have thrown the dummy and had a crack himself. But he's selfless, and he hands it on to one of his big flankers. Huge in stature. Israel Folau.
Already at the tender age, Darryl, at the very tender age of 19. Youngest player on the park tonight. There's confirmation from high above. Bill Harrigan and David Pakiito give the green light. Another 4 points for the Kangaroos. Their first points in the second half. They lead the Kiwis 26-6.
But it's a great kick. Hodges on the outer, just on the outside of Saar. And just ever thought about these two, Hodges and Folau will soon be teammates at the Brisbane Broncos. That's the side of field they'll play on.
It's a mouth-watering prospect, is it not?
And if there was something that separated these two sides tonight, it has to be the accuracy of your kicking game. When you look down the other end just moments ago, we saw a kick go directly into the basket of Inglis, and he just took it easy. You get down the other end, Jonathan Thurston, just enough to put it over the head of Saar. The accuracy of the kicking game, spot on.
We talk about playmakers. There just seems to be this endless production line of playmakers. Brad Fittler, and Alan Langer, Ricky Stewart, Jonathan Thurston, Andrew Johns. We could talk about it all night. There's another 2 points for Jonathan Thurston and the Aussies. 28-6 is the scoreline in the Centenary test.
one of the first times the Australians have had the ball down the attacking end of the field in the second half, and straight away they came up with the right option. Jonathan Thurston, a little bit of width with guys coming through on the outside, and it certainly makes it look very easy when you've got players like that on the outside of you.
Yet another restart for the Kiwis. 15 minutes to go or thereabouts left in this one. Last test match for both sides as we gear up to the Rugby League World Cup at the end of the season. First World Cup since 2000. Thurston goes across this right side of the ground. Numbers in the tackle for the Kiwis, and the Aussies come up 10 short of halfway. Greg Bird played it back, and now Gidley with a little dart out of dummy half, and they drag him towards that sideline. Thurston handing it on to Carl Webb, the two Cowboys combining. Thurston with the kick, and look at, that's how you do it. He finds the ground. Yes, there was one bounce, but he found the ground.
After scoring a try, look for Australia. They've got it after just the one set. Courtesy some fine dummy half running, and then the kick that finds some space.
5 tries to 1 is the equation thus far. We've got a penalty here against the Kiwis. That is a coach killer. That is a coach killer.
This hurts. Sonny Bill pops up to play the football, forgets to take it with him and away. Well, how are you meant to play the football when you've got Greg Bird giving you a judo wrestle around the torso, and you've got the ball on the ground and you want to play it?
See you guys, wait.
The Aussies now go on the attack through Brent Kite. Smith moves into dummy half. Thurston at first receiver. Back for Crocker. 11 metres shy of the goal line. Greg Bird, who was man of the match in that massacre at the Cake Tin last October, deputising for Lockyer, who of course misses tonight's game again because of injury. Thurston going to Gidley. Again, they look dangerous. Hoffman plays it back. Thurston takes them on, and he's shut down just as well for the Kiwis. Farlongo doing the job. And now they get a kick away into the in goal. The bouncing ball. Oh, he's lost it. Justin Hodges had 4 points written all over it, but couldn't control the footy.
It was a great kick. Gidley was under all sorts of pressure. They come out of the line, he kicks it, and it goes straight across, and might even go in between the goalposts. Kiwis get a hand on it, and just as Hodges is about to put it down, Nightingale arrives and knocks it out.
Nathan Kalis brings it away, still plugging away. The Australians well and truly on track for their 7th consecutive Trans-Tasman victory.
6-all in the second half.
They don't pay on that, Chook. This is Hallertown. 5 metres, Australia's side of halfway. And the last coming up now for the New Zealanders. Luke plays it back. Ohio goes to the heavens. And an easy take in the end. Not a lot of pressure really for Folau.
Not only the take, and then he's worked the ball 10 metres up the field and about 15 metres to the middle of the field as well. Oh, the difference Benny Roberts ruled out of this game last night with a hamstring, and his kicking game could have brought to this New Zealand side. They've missed it.
Have they what? Carl Webb looking rampant with the football in hand. Cameron Smith now looking to slice through like a Stradbroke Island shark. He goes to ground 19 metres away. Thurston, the crossfield kick. Pressure out wide on the Kiwis. Here come the Kangaroos with Gasnier. They've got it back. They look to score in the corner. Marshalling troops left, right and centre. New Zealand getting numbers in the tackle. And that will do us.
Play the ball there, he's in goal. Hey,
Well
Jack,
done.
Play the ball there.
The attack come in the air. Inglis ends up with it. And New Zealand do well to hold them out. Webb off his own line. Gallen, the tackler, back on the field. Has really led the way, Gallen, in this Australian pack on debut today. He's been the aggressor along with Crocker. They've worked tirelessly. High shot here from Kite.
Come, Brett. Get him down.
And fair enough too, the call quickly made by Ashley Klein. Interestingly, Stephen Kearney, the rookie Kiwi coach, has 4 changes up his sleeve. Just 2 for Ricky Stewart.
Cameron, Greg. Let's go, Cameron. Stay, guys.
Remembering too that Roy Azatazi has been a spectator for much of the game tonight. The New Zealand captain, South Sydney captain. Kalis, centre of the ground, 31 out from the Australian goal line. Well and truly inside the final 10. And look at this. Smith. Good play. 12 metres. 12 metres on the ruck. They come the left side. Hohaya goes to Sonny Bill. Williams pops it out the back. How did he do it? Saar, Hohaya, ducking under tackles. Luke's away. He offloads. And the Kiwis aren't far away. Right under the horns. Northern end of the ground and still wrestling in the tackle is Big Saar. Finally, we get to play the ball. It took an age. Sonny Bill Williams out wide. Delivers the pass to Nightingale. Oh, it's been intercepted. Billy Slater and he's ragdolled into the in goal. He flicks it out the back. Gallen's got the pill. He'll be overwhelmed. What an amazing passage of play we've just witnessed.
The referee Klein just lets it play as Gallen ends up with it. A big long ball to Sonny Bill. Has to go on the edge. Good tackle by Hodges. Nightingale does well. Shifts it infield. And right there, it ends up with Slater. Sonny says, come here, we're going for a ride. He lifts it back. Gallen's back there. They chase up, hoping they're going to speculate another one. They are going to play right to the end, these Kiwi guys. They've got heart.
7 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Fighting to the death, the Kiwis, forcing the dropout. Here comes Kalis. 28 points to 6. Just the 2 tries in the second half. 4 blot it was in the opening half. Here's Saar, taken by Thurston. And over the top came Mason. Webb goes to Pritchard. Luke Hohaya, and he is enveloped by the Australians in defence. Mason with a bear hug. Now they come across to Pritchard, looking to force his way over. He's not far away, and the last is coming up. Centimetres short of the goal line. Luke a dummy half. Goes to Hohaya. Lulaway is put away. Gasnier, was he offside? No, says the referee. And the changeover has been made.
An important period of play for the Kiwi side. And this is Pritchard going close. How many times have we been caught maybe a metre short of the line or even just right on the line tonight? 6 or 7 I can think of for sure. But an important passage of play with just 5 to go for this New Zealand side. The second half has given them a little bit of hope. When you think about the World Cup at the end of the year, have you seen enough tonight to suggest that we'll get a little bit better? I think with Soliola, Saar and also Sonny Bill, I think we have got enough to improve.
And the crowd tonight, just over 34,500. There have been a lot of fears here in Sydney leading up to the game tonight that we would fall way short of that. The capacity of the ground has been reduced with the construction work going on. That's an amazing turnout given the build up to the game. And that's an excellent result for the Kangaroos. You talk about the Kiwis battling to the end. Well, the Australians, from what we've seen, they are far from finished.
It was a great kick. They've kicked really well tonight, Australia. We knew they would. Hodges been quiet in attack, but his defence has been great. Not a lot of attack, not a lot of talk, should I say, from Webb to Nightingale as they watch that go into touch.
Well, we've seen a lot of half centuries and tons, double tons and triple tons at the SCG. We've got a half century tonight in the form of Cameron Smith. 50 tackles for the Australian captain as they search for one more try, the Aussies. Knockback's the call. Gedley plays to the whistle. Some of the Kiwis switched off. May well pay the price. I thought it was a fair call. We're well and truly in line with the play. This is Greg Bird, the Australian pivot. Stand off, 5/8, call it what you like. Here's Smith, the workaholic number 9. And on the inside we go. Directed that way by Paul Gallen. This is Big Charlie. Carl Webb playing it back. Mason going to Bird. And now Gaznia has lost the football.
Gone out as well.
And it's been called that way, and rightly so.
Good defence. Big men out wide, running at holes, backing themselves. This time Gaznia thinks he'll have a crack. It's a good ball from Mason. Shifted it some 20 metres. Catch and pass from Bird, giving it to his fast and experienced centre. And then the tackle of Sia Soliola. Intention of Perrott over the top. That's good D.
Well, the changing of the guard with the Kiwi coaching staff. We're at the arrival of Stephen Kearney, the 45-game Kiwi. His first game as national coach tonight. Wayne Bennett coming on board after his efforts with the All Goals in the north of England last year. No one said they'd be miracle workers, but quite clearly they still have a long way to go.
They will be ruining the first 20 minutes of this test match.
Will they what?
22-0 after 20.
Stephen Kearney on screen, lamenting what might have been. Kiwis tonight chasing redemption, looking to restore credibility, chasing their first win at this venue since 1959. This is Billy Slater teasing the kick chase team, but so much for the tease, they changed that real quick smart.
He gets across field and Blair pushes him across. Nathan Karas comes up and swamps him. Inglis up the middle.
And conversely, the Aussie Brains Trust of Stewart and Gold Coast Titans boss John Cartwright looking on. Mission accomplished. That's a knock on. That's play on. Nightingale comes away with the scratch.
Will they finish with a flurry, the Kiwis? What have they got?
Well, they've got less than 2 minutes to do it as the Mexican wave goes around the SCG. This is Hohire going across the park, linking up with Adam Blair. 20 metres away. They go the right side. Lurlawai looking to set it up. Williams, Lurlawai, back for Luke. And he's buckled over in the tackle. Carl Webb over the top. Michael Crocker downstairs. 90 seconds away from the final hooter. And now cutting it upfield is Jeremy Smith. And there's a penalty. Just a little overzealous in the tackle there.
Big Willie Mason, the culprit.
Another tap and go. This is Kalis. He's got through a mountain of work tonight, particularly with Azatazi sidelined for so much of the battle. Lurlawai, Webb up from full-back. Soliola delivering the pass, and out wide they will get the consolation try. Sam Perrott comes up with 4 points at the death. And in the Centenary Test, the Kiwis finally hit double figures at the SCG.
Well deserved. The shift of the football. The angles are difficult from the commentary box. Had a little bit of a question mark on the last pass. But Perrott had some fine matches. Soliola, he's been fantastic on this right edge. Their pass was fine. Good finish. Good shift of the football. And a nice way to finish the test match after a disappointing start.
And on that occasion, as we've seen with Gaznia all night, using his physical presence to be able to attract the attention of defenders and still playing an offload. Well, on that occasion, Soliola, as he's already done in the previous try. But that's the key to it, is the way you end the match.
Interesting to note, TAB over here, 16.5 start on the game. This kick's quite important. It'll narrow it down to 16.
Important for some, Chook. Important for some.
Oh, we've got a streaker.
Oh, well, Isaac Luke is saying what's going on. Now he can see what's going on. So can everybody else.
He's going to score a try, streaker. He fended off the security guard. I'll give you the commentary. The TV won't show it. He's beaten the top up. Oh, he's over. He's slipped. Oh, and they've come over. Someone's flopped.
Well, we've seen one of the best tackles of the night. A little bit of a flop involved, but that gentleman who's involved with the security team, I'll give you the tip, he won't be penalised. And after the hijinks of the last 60 seconds or so, order has been restored. A show of force from the security and police personnel will escort that gentleman out of the venue. Here is Luke off the tee. Never looked like missing. Up go the flags. And there goes the siren. Somewhat of a comical end, an encouraging end to the Centenary Test from the Kiwis' point of view. They outscore the Kangaroos in the second stanza, but it counts for absolutely nothing. The Aussies reign supreme, yet once again they beat the Kiwis 28 points to 12. 22-0 at half-time. The horse had well and truly bolted after the first 25 minutes.
Plenty to look back on. Roy Asatasi, possibly not too many memories of this match, leaving early after a concussion. Mannering had a high work rate.
Let's go sideline, and Peter is standing by with Sonny Bill Williams.
Sonny, it was always going to be hard. That opening quarter was not the way you wanted to start the match.
Yeah, not at all. You know, we didn't start as enthusiastic as we'd like to. You know, we didn't get into the grind, and that's all that the Aussies know how to play. So I think the last 60 minutes we showed what we're capable of. So we just got to build on this for the World Cup.
Mate, when you talk about building on something, is there one area that you think you need to get better at to be able to compete?
Oh, just completion rate. You know, when Test footy is a different brand of footy to week in, week out. You know, club. So we just got to stick to the basics, but run hard. You know, and just, I guess, stick to the game plan, not differ away from it.
Mate, in the commentary, they made reference to the fact the way you guys finished this game, it's encouraging.
Yeah, it is. You know, like I said, it's something we can build on the last 60 minutes for the World Cup, and that's what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah, cheers, son.
Cheers.
There he is, Sonny Bill Williams. 7 games for the Kiwis, yet to taste victory. One man who knows all about that tonight. He was one of the Kangaroo debutants. He's with Stephen McIver.
Well, how good was that on debut? Try and you get the cash.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good first half. That first 20 minutes was pretty good by us. We played well, we defended well, and we attacked well. Second half was a bit disappointing, but we got the cash.
Paul, tell me what was going through your head when you put the jersey on and thought about getting out there in the middle?
Yeah, I was over the moon. I got picked last year and had to pull out due to injury, and it's probably the most disappointing decision I had to make. And so to get another chance, I was over the moon, and just to play with these blokes and to play out here in front of a crowd like this, it was just awesome.
No one can take it away from you. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, it was a pretty good try for Paul Gallen. Any try's a good one when you're playing your first game for your country. And the Sharks debutant going through quite nicely there for Ricky Stewart's Kangaroos. As we look at the score summary, Gasnier a double, Gallen, Smith and Folau all getting across the stripe. Jonathan Thurston, albeit playing on one leg, 4 from 5, while for the Kiwis tonight, Soliola and Perrott, the two Roosters getting across. Luke 1 from 1, Smith 1 from 1. The Kangaroos dominating once more, getting the job done at 28-12. Stick with us. We'll have a whole lot more from the Sydney Cricket Ground right after the break.